Kirsten Joyce, Brian Loftus, and Ted Florendo. This is 8 News Now at 6:30.
Nevada Partners is a group that launched back in 1992 after civic unrest on the historic west side of Las Vegas. Their mission is to help build homes, create jobs, and improve our community. Joining us now to talk about the unrest in Las Vegas, Executive Director Kenadie Cobbin-Richardson. Kenadie, we do thank you for joining us on 8 News Now.
Thank you for having me, Brian.
Let's get right into the organization and the purpose of Nevada Partners as a solution to despair and hopelessness. I think a lot of the protesters are feeling hopelessness and despair. They want to be heard. Talk a little bit about the importance of the message and the message not getting lost. What do those protesters need to say, and how do we hear them?
So it's interesting that you brought up the fact that Nevada Partners was really born out of the civic unrest from the Rodney King beatings, and here we are 28 years later, really dealing with some of the same issues. And so I just feel like we haven't moved as far as I would have liked to have seen us move. And so I'd like to see this moment, particularly, be a moment where there is real change, that we can really move to a space where there's trust built between the community and the police force, as well as the reduction of bias-based policing and also the criminalization of low-level offenses. So being stopped, for a bike light or selling cigarettes or a $20 counterfeit bill cannot end in death, right? You may be jailed, maybe talked to, apprehended, but absolutely a routine stop or just a few questions about what you're doing here can't end in death. And that really is the central message. And how can we really take all the racial inequities that exist in health, education, employment, housing, as well as voter suppression, and really get to a place where it's not an us and them, but a we, that we have a shared understanding and respect one another and can really move forward in peace and prosperity together. And it really takes all of us to do that. And so the real message is, this is not a Black problem, a minority problem, a community of color problem, but an American problem. And so that democracy that we all, buy into, and that American dream has to be for all of us. And that includes those that are even breaking the law. They still deserve respect and human rights, as they are processed in an appropriate way. And the numbers tell it all. And so from a data standpoint, there can't be disproportionate stops, searches, arrests, and obviously use of force or death, among one group of people. And that's an obvious symptom of bias.
Kenadie, very worthy and important goals there, and a lot of what you talked about is important on a long-term scale, that these are goals that are met and then achieved in a long-term basis, as you referenced the riots of 3 decades ago. What about immediately right now? What needs to happen for those that are protesting, be it the other 3 officers being arrested, be it leadership actually truly hearing the protesters? What needs to happen right now, in your opinion?
So in my opinion, I believe that we have to get to a place where we are deciding to move forward. It's not going to take, just these protests or the moments that we're all, wrapped up emotionally, but it's the long haul. Can we go the long road together? Can we journey together about policies? So it's policy that's going to create real change. Can the police force have a commitment to the community and get to know people so that you're not afraid of them, that you don't fear them, or that you have stereotypes? And so it's going to take sort of an internal training as well as an external training. And so the key word here, though, is having a plan. Can we have a plan to move forward? And the second key word would be commitment to stick to that plan until real change is realized.
It's interesting you talk about sticking to a plan, because we hear so much about people that thought there was some change happening and then another situation occurs and they feel like that change happens and then we're going back. In fact, you started the interview by questioning how far have we really come in the 3 decades. One of the messages of Nevada Partners is lift someone up today. Talk about the importance of everybody being lifted up and everybody being treated equally across the board.
Absolutely. So at Nevada Partners, we work on 2 levels. One is the structural inequities, which means that this is how, banking is done, how houses are bought, how employment happens, all of those things are in the structural part of it. And then there's the individual asset building where we're helping that student or that family or that mom or dad get a job, and they have to happen at both levels. And so as we move forward in Nevada Partners and have been for the last 30 years and hopefully continue that, but be in a different space in 2050 than we are in 2020, that has to happen. But as we move forward on this journey to really get to equity, it really requires policy on that structural level and then individual motivation, on that individual level. So it really requires both. And it can't happen if we don't have both, right? So there can't be people moving forward, buying houses, but yet you get to the bank and no one wants to loan. Or we're in a COVID-19 and we realize that all the comorbidities that Black people have, are causing higher death rates. And so it's all a cycle and continues to build on each other. And so it's really important that both the governor and the powers that be recognize in our little corner of the world called Nevada, that we will make change here, and hopefully the world will follow. But I believe in Nevada, and I believe in our elected officials, and I believe that they really want to see change happen. And because of that, I think that we can make real and lasting change here in Nevada.
Kenadie, we love that you and Nevada Partners are in Las Vegas, and we appreciate your leadership. Thank you for joining us on Channel 8 today and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you, Brian, for having me.